Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Have a Successful Hill Meeting. Today, we'll be talking about everything you need to know about Hill Day, the state captain process, and tips for having a successful Hill meeting. I am Brittany Owens, the Policy and Advocacy Manager at the ARC of the United States. I support our policy and grassroots teams to make sure Americans with disabilities' voices are heard.
And I'm Robin Linscott, Director of Education and Family Policy for the ARC of the United States. My work focuses on helping all children with disabilities get the supports that they need in and out of the classroom. And today, we're walking you through exactly how to have a successful meeting with the congressional office in Washington, D.C. when you're here for DPS.
Whether it's your first time visiting Capitol Hill or you've done dozens of advocacy meetings, this guide will help you feel confident, prepared, and effective.
We're going to take you through step by step of what to expect, what to say, and how to make sure your message sticks in our meetings.
And we're doing it in a simple conversation, just like the kind of conversation you might have soon with a congressional staffer.
So, well before DPS and Hill Day even happen, we want to clue you into our state captain process that is occurring behind the scenes.
Robin, can you share what are state captains?
Thanks for asking, Brittany. State captains are volunteers that are coming to DPS that are in charge of scheduling the House and Senate meetings for folks in your state. So, after you actually register online for DPS, you will receive an email from your state captain. They are likely going to ask you to confirm that you want to participate in Hill Day and the Hill meetings and to confirm your representative.
What if I don't know my representative or senators?
Great question. You can go to www.congress.gov/members/find your member. We will link this with the video. And you can type in your address and it will tell you exactly your senators and your members in the house, your member in the house.
Good to know. Also, how will I know when my meetings are?
As meetings are scheduled, the state captain is going to reach out to those registered from the state and the district and keep them updated on the schedule. So it's important that you look out for emails from your state captain and respond if your state captain is asking you any questions.
I will make sure to respond. Also, will I have time to meet with my state captain before Hill Day?
Yes. At the end of the day, on Monday, March 23rd, everyone will have an opportunity to meet as a state group to go over any final details. You might be able to practice things you're going to say, questions you're going to ask in your meeting, as well as just kind of coordinate everything together as a whole state team together in person.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for all the great info, Robin. Now, let's talk about the actual Hill meetings.
Great. So the Senate and the House of Representatives each have three buildings where most members have their actual offices. The Capitol building itself, right? The building that we all know and see pictures of, the actual Capitol building, it divides the Senate side of the office buildings and the House side of the office buildings.
Even though it might seem like they're really close, it can be a bit of a walk between the House and the Senate side. So make sure you are wearing comfortable shoes and have any mobility devices with you that you might need.
Great point, Brittany. When you actually get to the office building, you're first going to have to go through security. It's pretty much just like the airport. You usually get to keep your shoes on, though. You will need to put your bag, any type of electronic devices, including smartwatches, onto the conveyor belt, and you will walk through metal detectors.
And I also want to point out that you are not allowed to bring luggage into the congressional office buildings. So if you are checking out of the hotel, make sure to leave your bag with the hotel.
So let's talk about a big truth about Capitol Hill meetings is that most of the time, and when I say most of the time, I mean almost all of the time, you won't be meeting directly with the member of Congress.
That's right, Robin. You'll usually meet with a staffer, maybe a legislative assistant or a legislative correspondent, and that's okay. Staff are the members' eyes and ears. They're trained to listen, take notes, and make recommendations.
Exactly. Your goal is to build a relationship with them, with the staffer. Staffers are smart, they're professional, and they're very busy. Your meeting is usually going to be about 15 to 30 minutes. So you need to make sure that your message is clear and concise. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how you kind of prep and prepare what you're going to say and talk about in your meeting. So the first thing we want to know is, why are we meeting? What are the specific bills or issues or priorities that you want to discuss? Well, lucky for you, we at DPS have kind of created what our top priorities for you all to be talking about in your meetings are. And those will be communicated through fact sheets and talking points as we get a little bit closer to DPS.
For sure. And you should also be ready to explain how that issue impacts people with disabilities in real life in their district or state. Staffers remember stories more than statistics.
Exactly. Be ready to bring or to share 1 to 3 personal stories or examples that illustrate the problem that you're talking about, whether it is education or Medicaid or Social Security.
You should also research the office a little bit. Does the member sit on a relevant committee? Have they supported disability issues before? Doing that little bit of research is super important.
Absolutely. And it shows the staffer that you're really interested and that you've taken the time to prepare for this meeting because they likely have prepared too. And don't forget to bring printed materials or a one-page handout of the things that you are asking the member.
And I know you just touched on this a little bit, but I just want to make sure. Are these materials provided to us by DPS?
Yes, they are. These are the DPS fact sheets and talking points. The talking points are written in plain language and are meant to guide what you're saying to the staffer. The fact sheets are what you can leave with the office afterwards. And we usually have 3 to 4 fact sheets on kind of what the disability community thinks are the most pressing issues for us at that time. Your state captain will ensure that there are enough printed fact sheets for all of your meetings. And all of these materials are going to be available on the DPS website as we get closer to the event. So if you're not a state captain, you yourself do not need to make sure to have printed materials, but make sure you've looked through them so that you know what you are leaving with the member and what you are going to be saying in those talking points. All right. So you've prepped for the meeting, you've gone through security, and you're heading to the office. What happens next, Brittany?
So, what happens next is a staff assistant or intern will greet you. Sometimes the meeting happens in the office lobby, sometimes in a meeting room, sometimes even in the hallway if it's a busy day.
Don't be thrown off by that. And don't feel discouraged that the office doesn't think your meeting is important or doesn't have time for you if all of a sudden you are meeting with a staffer in the hallway. Often our groups are really big that are going, especially if you are coming from a state with a lot of folks that have come to DPS. And many times it's just a matter of size. Hill offices are really small, especially on the House of Representatives side. So sometimes they just can't fit the number of people we have for a meeting inside the office, and the next biggest space is actually the hallway.
That's definitely great and important to keep in mind. Once you meet with the staffer, start with quick introductions, name, organization, and if you have one, your connection to the district or state.
This might sound something as quickly as, "Hi, I'm Robin. I'm a constituent from New Jersey's 7th District, and I am here with the Arc of New Jersey."
Boom, simple and effective.
So here is the heart of your meeting. It is the purpose and your ask.
Yeah, so for example, something that you could say is we're asking the senator to co-sponsor these four bills that greatly impact people with disabilities.
Then you're going to follow it up with an explanation of why this bill matters, and a personal story that makes the issue real.
That sounds like a really good idea, Robin. Let's model that.
Okay, I'm going to pretend to be the advocate. Brittany, you're going to be the staffer.
Awesome.
Thank you for meeting with me today, Miss Owens. I'm asking the senator to support the Keeping All Students Safe Act. This bill would prevent the uses of restraint and seclusion in schools. Students with disabilities are more likely to be subjected to these abusive practices, just like my sibling was.
Perfect. That was short, specific, and human.
Then I would add, here's a fact sheet about the most pressing issues affecting students with disabilities in schools.
And after that, give the staffer room to respond. They may ask questions. They may share the member's past voting history. They may say they'll look into it. All of those are normal.
And don't worry if they don't commit to a position on the spot. They usually won't because staffers rarely can. Their job is to gather this information and present a recommendation to that member of Congress later. But it's the member that makes the decision.
And I have one more tip. Speak from your lived experience, not complicated legal language. You are the expert on your life and community.
That's great, Brittany. Thank you.
Yeah. And I just want to also talk a little bit about accessibility and self-advocacy. Accessibility applies to you too. If you need accommodations like extra time, a wheelchair accessible route, a quiet space, tell the office before your meeting.
And never feel embarrassed advocating for your access needs during the meeting itself.
Correct. If you need a staffer to slow down, speak louder, repeat something, or to move to a quieter part of the office, you can ask. That is a part of effective advocacy.
And if you use AAC, ASL, need an interpreter, or any other communication support, great. Congressional offices work with these accommodations all the time. Just let them know ahead of time. This is also something you can communicate with your state captain, and your state captain can help get that message to the member's office.
For sure. And just to remind everyone, accessibility isn't an obstacle, it's part of the process.
So, as the meeting is wrapping up, restate your ask one more time.
Something like, before we go, I want to reiterate that we're asking the congressman to co-sponsor HR 1234.
Thank the staffer for their time and ask for a follow-up contact. You could say, is it okay if I send additional information by email? Or who's the best person to follow up with?
And always exchange business cards or emails if possible.
That's right. Your state captain will send out a thank you email on behalf of the group after the meeting, but feel free to write a personal one as well. Because these meetings are often filled with a lot of people, not every person might have the chance to share your story. So, a follow up email is really a great opportunity for you to be able to share your own personal experience if you weren't able to share it during the meeting itself. And try to send that email within 1 to 2 days of the meeting.
Yeah, want to make sure it's fresh in everyone's minds, right? Well, that's it. A successful congressional meeting doesn't require special skills, just preparation, clarity, and the power of your lived experience.
You've got this. Your voice matters, your story matters. And when disability advocates show up on Capitol Hill, change happens.
For sure. Thanks for watching and good luck with your meetings. See you soon.
We'll see you all at DPS.